Alright guys, our next guest is a former WBC welterweight Muay Thai champion, is currently the head coach of the Glendale Fight Club. He trains such fighters as Travis Browne, Jake the Juggernaut Allenberger, and of course, one of the UFC's biggest stars, female bantamweight champion Ronda Rousey. Edmond Tarverdyan, welcome back to Submission Radio. How are you?
Good. How are you guys? Thanks for having me back.
We're doing well, especially now that you're on the program. Now, UFC 190 was another huge show. Just wondering, Edmond, how did you enjoy Brazil and the Brazilian MMA fans?
Amazing. Very passionate people. Brazil was great to us. The UFC, amazing. The way they have everything coordinated and organized in a country like Brazil, amazing. And it was just fun to be there. Fans were great, passionate, loved the champ, and just very supportive.
We were amazed at how much love Ronda Rousey got. Obviously, she's fighting a Brazilian. Brazilians are very passionate about their own, countrymen and countrywomen. Were you surprised at all at the amount of love that she got for a non-Brazilian?
I was surprised in a way, but Ronda is an amazing athlete, amazing human being. She's such a great person, and I know her very well. And I appreciate the work she does myself so much. How hard she trains, how much she gives, to the sport. So I was always hoping that, people will realize that in general and give her the credit. And, the girl could fight. The girl's passionate, puts her heart, in the sport, works hard, is an amazing person. So, I love it that the Brazilian fans really appreciate her and, put in a lot of thought. Even we were fighting the Brazilian, they did not mind, and they were very supportive. So in a way, I was surprised, but me knowing Ronda, she does deserve all that. So it was amazing to see that also.
Now, a lot of fans, not to mention yourself, Edmond, didn't really see Bethe as much of a threat to Ronda at all. When the fight was initially announced, were you at all nervous that Ronda wouldn't be as motivated for the fight because of this?
No, Ronda has motivation every day in the gym. When she gets in my gym to train, she trains every day, and she wants to be the best in the world. She wants to box better than everybody in my gym, I have great boxers coming in the gym, in and out, doing training camps, and boxing world champions, and she wants to perform better than them. There's coaches that work with their boxers in my gym, and she wants to get the respect from every coach, and, that she is the best. She knows how to box, or how great she is. So, she's motivated to train every day. She's not only thinking about the opponent. Hey, she's not a challenge, so I shouldn't train. She has challenges every day in the gym and in her life, and she never lets anything through her fingers. She does what she's supposed to do, and she's always motivated. If she's not, I always told her, we got to be true, and the day that you don't train hard and you're not motivated, I think that's when we call it a quit, and that's it, not a quit. That's the end of her career, would be the proper way.
Yeah.
Of saying it.
Before we talk about the fight itself, Betch's comments about Ronda's father seemed like a pretty big motivator for Ronda, working with her into the fight. How much impact did those comments really have on her, especially in training? Did you notice it changing her at all?
Ronda's, the best in the world. Ronda leaves every emotion out. When she gets in the gym, focus, very happy, smiling. When Ronda parks the car in behind my gym, she runs into the gym. She doesn't walk. That's how excited Ronda is to train, with a big smile on her face. So, regardless what happened, when a person could be dumb and stupid and say something unintelligent like that, she says, this is, professional sport, I'm born to do this. So she gets excited to come into the gym to work. So no, nothing like that will hurt her.
Yeah, and you can't blame her with a team like yours. It would be a pleasure to work out every single day. Now, let's discuss the fight. It was another Ronda Rousey domination. Just wondering, what was your assessment of the fight? And with so many things going right, was there anything that you could look at to improve?
Absolutely. We could improve every day. Like I always said, Ronda punches with both hands tremendously. This girl hasn't been knocked out, hasn't been stopped. And one punch knocked out like that is amazing. So I was very happy with her performance. But could there be improvements? Absolutely, definitely. And Ronda, we will work on that, and I know what exactly I need to do. I don't look at it just because of that 34 seconds. I look at it as the whole training camp, what has been done with her, and showed how great she is. Every fight she's been improving, and now people see her boxing skills. I see it more often. Ronda spars with the best in the world in boxing world champions we hire from different gyms to come spar with her. Ronda is amazing, gets the best of everybody.
I want to talk about her striking, but just before we do, I just want to talk about the game plan, because many people predicted that Ronda could win in many ways, whether it was on the feet, whether it was on the ground, the typical armbar. Most of the predictions were that Ronda would win in the first round decisively. What exactly was the game plan for the fight? Was it, because it looked like she rushed Bethe, was it to rush Bethe like that?
Ronda always starts off aggressive, and, this one, she wanted to take her out, and she did do that. Game plan, when you have a super athlete like Ronda beats everybody in every area. Why should I be worried about a game plan? Actually, this is a fight, so it's not a game. I don't even like that word being called a game plan. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things I look at it differently when I'm working with an athlete, depending on the athlete's abilities. Ronda's abilities are so much. When Ronda was hitting Bethe on the cage, what happened? Bethe wanted to get the clinch, right? She wanted to clinch up with Ronda. When she went forward to clinch with Ronda beat her, right? And then Ronda took her off and knocked her out. Before Ronda would want to go clinch. Why did Bethe want to clinch with her? Nobody in the world could clinch with Ronda. Ronda would take him down and submit him. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
So why was Bethe trying to clinch Ronda? It's because Bethe was getting hurt. She wanted to close that gap so she could stop Ronda's hand speed and that punching power. And Ronda, boom, took advantage of that and took her away. There is no need for a game plan with somebody like Ronda Rousey. Ronda beats everybody in every area. If they want to clinch with her, she could beat them there. If she wants to clinch, she could clinch and beat them there. She wants to box. She wants to just beat them with the jab, set up the jab, touch them all night. She will do that. She's the best in the world. So I'm not worried about any game plan or, we should be doing this. We get the best sparring in the world. She throws 120 punches per round. She's in tip-top shape. She does everything in the gym, prepared. So I'm not worried ever. Wherever she wants to take the fight, she could take it there. She sings the music and they dance, That's about it.
Yeah, I wish they danced and we sang our music. That's some great points made, Edmond, and it's a really interesting perspective, of a great coach, an amazing coach working with an amazing athlete. You touched on technique, and we just wanted to quickly ask you, there were times in the fight where Ronda looked a little bit off balance and prone to counter shots because she rushed Bethe a little bit. Just wondering, you're a very technical guy and a very technical trainer. What were your thoughts on that aspect of the fight?
Yeah, she needed to set up that, she wanted to take her out with one big punch, and she got in there a little bit aggressive. It was a scramble a little bit. What they do is, I talked to Ronda about that. They're going to start trying to push Ronda away, stick their fingers in her eyes. They can't keep this girl off them. So it's very difficult to fight people like that are more technical and more brilliant at fighting. I wish these girls could fight in front of her so Ronda could show her skills a bit more. She's just too good for them. And, they stiffen up, pull their body back, and they try to, push, spaz out, basically. And, Ronda, as they were spazzing out, rushed into it a little bit, try to catch her with a big shot. And, she did get off balance a little bit. But, hey, it's the octagon, slippery. Anything could happen there. It wasn't a big deal. Then she settled down a little bit, caught her with a beautiful jab. We could see that. She threw the jab, and boom, right away it hit the button. And Ronda's jab, I'm telling you, Ronda's jab could not be ruled out. Even if you watch the last two punches, when Ronda threw the 1-2 from the side, when she angled off beautifully, and then what did she throw afterwards? You see that when she's about to drop, the jab is touching her face also. It is touching her face as she's going down. Ronda could drop people with a jab, definitely. So, it was a little bit aggressive start and big overhand right and a little bit, got off balance. So it's not a big deal. It's the first 10 seconds. It could happen to anybody, world best boxers. That can happen, but definitely we will work on that also.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's an interesting point. Now that UFC 190 is in the books and it's all done and dusted, another fantastic performance. Next fight for Ronda Rousey is a third fight with Miesha Tate. What do you think about this fight again? And at this point, are you sick of training Ronda for Miesha again for the third time?
No, I'm not. I love training Ronda, and Miesha. Has been looking good. She won 4 fights. She does deserve the shot, and if you think about it, it's the second UFC fight. The first one was in Strikeforce, so it's her second shot, which a lot of fighters out there get their second shot at the world title. And I like that fight. And Miesha is gonna, get hurt in that fight. Definitely. Ronda's gonna be in the best shape of her life. I hate making excuses, but if you watch all my career interviews, I've always said Miesha Tate, was very lucky. Last fight, we had a little bit of injuries going into the fight with Miesha Tate. Ronda was, we had movies, kept her weight so low during the movies. First time ever shooting Expendables. I had 45 days to work with her. I had a Victor Chinian in the gym getting ready for Nonito Donor. I can fly out there to Bulgaria for 2 months. Training wasn't the way it was supposed to be for her. She trained herself, and how much could you do that when you're doing 16 hours of shifts playing a movie, first time ever with all those big actors, So, and then she came back and, time to prepare, some hand injuries, and knock on wood, now she's healthy. After that, we've had the scope on her knee, and knee surgery's been great. She's in the best shape of her life, and now it's going to be a different story. Miesha Tate is going to get hurt in there, okay?
I mean, it's going to be really exciting to see what happens. Tate is the only person that was able to drag Ronda out of the first round, something no opponent has been able to do in the UFC. Just wondering if you could sort of envision how this third fight would go. How does it go down in your mind? How do you see this third fight with Miesha going?
I'm not going to predict anything right now. I know exactly when to predict it. But Ronda's gonna definitely, what I said is she's gonna get hurt in there. I'm worried for Miesha Tate. I shouldn't be worried, but I'm worried.
I'm curious. What do you think about Miesha's striking improvements? Because she went up against a striker, Jessica Ai. She rocked her many times. Looked like she's been improving her striking, improving her power as well. What do you think about those improvements in her striking?
Nothing. I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed at all. Nothing. Zero.
There's been some ill will towards Miesha Tate's boyfriend and trainer Bryan Caraway from you and Ronda previously with some of his comments about her. I'm just wondering, is there still grudge there, or is it water under the bridge?
Definitely. I don't like either of them, both of them, and, they misbehave themselves. They didn't act normal, and I still don't like them, so we're on the same way. This third one, she's going to get it, way more. And so she could really know that, who's the best in the world. She knows that. She actually does know that. It's just she's going to get hurt more. She got hit in the third round with Ronda from a right cross, and she didn't even know where she was, Then she got caught in an armbar. But she admitted it after the fight. When they asked her, she said, yeah, that right hand hit me and hurt me, But now she's going to, all those words she said, Ronda can't hit the pads, this and that, it's funny to me. But now she's going to see it. You're going to see that lightning hand speed. It's going to be right on her face. She's going to tattoo her face this time.
Just on Bryan Caraway, with him and Manny Gamburyan both winning their respective fights, would you like to see Manny get a fight with Bryan?
Why not? Yeah, why not? They're in the same weight class, so, they should get a fight going. For me, a fight's a fight. I'm not too worried about who hates who, or it does interest all the fans and the public, and but a good fight is a good fight. That's a good fight, same weight division, they both won. Why not?
Yeah, it would be a very interesting one. Just back on Ronda, it does seem like she's running out of title challenges in the division. Seeing Holly Holmes' dominating performance in the last fight, do you see Holly as a risk at all to Ronda when they eventually do meet up and fight each other?
I like that fight. It's every fight is, not easy till you beat them. And, and Ronda trains hard, but, I'm telling you, even if, Holly Holmes, if she's a boxing world champion, I'll put all my life earnings on Ronda. Even in a boxing match, Ronda beats her. Stops her, doesn't beat her. I'm man of my word, and, maybe, after champ retires undefeated, one day maybe they could box in the gym. Same thing will happen in the gym, even with 14-ounce gloves. She can't stop Champ, Champ's too strong for all of them. But the girl could, keep the distance a bit better than most fighters in there, She has been a champion for a long time in boxing, so mentally, as an athlete, she was higher than most of the fighters in the UFC would say as experience-wise, and it is a fun fight for a champ, It's a great fight for us.
I want to get your opinion on something, Edmond, because you mentioned before how a lot of opponents in the past of Ronda's, they try and clinch up with Ronda when sort of like when they're being outstruck, and most of her opponents have moved backwards in a straight line when Ronda came forward. But with Holm, she employs a lot of lateral movement in her fights and likes to keep her opponents at a distance with kicks. I'm just wondering, how do you think Ronda would deal with Holly's approach in keeping the distance? Would it be a challenge at all for Ronda to cover the distance?
No problem. I kicked all my life, yeah. And the way Ronda moves, I can't kick her, so I'm not worried. I'm going to be honest with you. Ronda's footwork and her distance and her legs and her timing is better than Holly. So I do understand what you're saying, that lateral movement, side to side steps better, angles off better because of her boxing skills. She's staying a bit lower now because she's more afraid of the takedown. In boxing, she would keep her feet a bit more closer, so she would move better. Definitely. If you have the wider stance, you're not going to move as quick, but at least, you could stop the takedown and, a little bit wrestling and a boxing mixture of a stance now. So she does keep her feet wide, and from that wide stance, she is able to kick, which shows talent, It's not that easy to be done. So I do understand what she's doing, but Ronda's got the best feet in the world, best movement in the world with her legs. She angles off beautifully. It's not that these girls don't know to go side to side. It's just her pressure and her, how quick she is with her feet. Champ's the best in the world, and it's an exciting fight for us. And I'll love to see that fight so Ronda could show her skills.
Oh, yeah, and when it does happen, it will be an exciting display of skill. Another big thing in the world of MMA has been Cris Cyborg. Basically, she's been in the news saying that the UFC and Ronda Rousey owe it to the fans to get this fight together between her and Ronda. Obviously, it doesn't look like she ever will get down to the weight to fight Ronda Rousey. Just wondering, what do you think about these comments that she's making?
I honestly don't understand what she's even talking about. She needs to make the weight to fight. I don't understand catch weights. I don't like catch weights. I don't understand what she's talking about, catch weights. I don't even like it in boxing. There is a weight division, and everybody should follow the weight divisions and fight at that weight so the title could be on the line. And Ronda's a champion at 135 right now. She has done things in her past to put fighters' life in danger. When we're training in the gym, we try to make everything so intelligent, smart, and safe. So, we could be right. We could be respectful to the sport. With us doing all that, and then there's a fighter that has done things that she shouldn't have, look like a danger. That fighter, if she's off what she's doing, she should be able to make 35. 135 is the weight for the UFC title. So, she's been saying 140 or something like that, or the fans, deserve to see the fight. Definitely deserve the fight. To see the fight. So make the weight, the fight will happen. No problem.
I'm just curious because it feels like, obviously with Ronda now, she's going to be facing a lot of the same fights in terms of rematches, and it is the fight that everybody wants to see. The other side of the coin is that Ronda's fought at heavyweights. In Strikeforce, she fought at 145, and obviously in judo, she competed at a higher weight. Do you think, for the sake of making a big money fight, let's say the title's not on the line, do you think it would make sense to make the fight at 145? I know you say you're not a fan of catchweight, but what if for one fight Ronda Rousey goes up in weight like she's done in the past?
The fight, Ronda, when she gets in training, she walks around at 148 pounds. So 145, I don't want her to fight at 145. Before, when she fought, the reason was, one, she was just starting her career in MMA, number one. Number two is that we were ready to fight every day. Ronda couldn't have fights. It wasn't like Ronda's choice of fighting at 45 or 35. People didn't want to fight Ronda. Ronda fought every time undefeated opponents in her amateur day career also. Anybody that wanted to fight her, we said, promotional company, hey, one day before, just let us know, we'll jump into the fight. So that's why we didn't care about the weight, whether it was 150, 148. It didn't really matter because people were not fighting her. It was a problem for us to find people to fight her. She was ready to fight every day, and whenever she was ready to fight every day, if they gave us a one-day notice, hey, possible opponent, yes, this person picked up the fight, we wouldn't want her. It wouldn't be healthy to make 135. So we said, no problem. And those girls did not do what Cyborg has done. Those girls did not cheat. Cyborg has cheated. Mm-hmm. People have to understand that. And now, no fucking exceptions. I don't want exceptions. I wanted that 135.
Cyborg, apart from Ronda Rousey, is probably the other dominant fighter in the world when it comes to WMMA. Just wondering, have you been impressed with what she's been doing in Invicta, knocking out girls in the first round? And do you think if she does get down in weight, she might be an issue for Ronda with her striking?
No, Ronda beats her in striking. She overwhelms people. She pushes her punches, and she throws pretty a bit heavy, heavier than some of these opponents. But the opponents give up on her. Ronda's knockout was a knockout this last fight. Everybody saw the hand speed, the power, one shot, boom, out. That's punching. And Ronda's only going to be punching better from now on. Definitely. So I've never been a fan of hers. I think she's slow. She just overwhelms people because of what she's been doing, I think, and she could box a bit more than the others, and she's been doing it longer, and it doesn't surprise me. Ronda's the better athlete. Ronda's quicker, stronger, and faster. That's it.
I'm curious, if the fight with Cyborg never happens and Ronda cleans out the division the next couple of years, and the only fights to make would be rematches, do you think she'd stick around for a long series of rematches, or do you think she'd retire undefeated?
I think the UFC is doing a hell of a job. Dana White's signing great fighters in there, and and I don't think there is only going to be rematches. It's just that Miesha Tate's on a great run right now with four wins. Beat everybody, and she's been looking good. So she does deserve the shot. Jessica Eye definitely, could make improvements and come up there, because honestly, when Jessica Eye fought Alexis Davis, that fight was very close, as we know. It could have gone either way. I thought Jessica Eye was landing, nice clean shots, and they could have gave that decision to Jessica Eye, and Jessica Eye would be in line to fight Ronda instead of Alexis Davis. Correct? So we have Jessica Eye there that could make improvements, could get a shot at Ronda. We got Holly Holmes. Miesha gets it is because it's not only because they're running out of opponents. Miesha won 4 fights in a row, like I say. So, by that time, there's people in the top 10 improving day by day, and, there's fighters out there that we haven't fought in. They could be in line, and even Kat, just jumped on her and got caught so bad. It's like, even Ronda said, I'll give you another chance right there, because it was just too crazy. The girl moved great on the ground, and she spinned out. It's just Ronda is a freak. Ronda's too good. So, there's a few fights out there, and by that time, I'm sure everybody's learning, getting better.
Just before we jump to a couple of fan questions before we finish the interview, just wanted to get your opinion on something else, Edmond. Obviously, there's a lot of uproar about Floyd Mayweather taking a fight with Andre Berto for his last one. Fans are pretty upset with the matchup. What did you think when you saw Floyd was fighting him for his last fight?
I'm not upset. Floyd, Andre Berto is quick, explosive, and, it's still a challenge, and Floyd could pick whoever he wants to fight. Floyd's fought, a lot of great fighters out there, and he's beaten them. So, it's like the guy chose that opponent, and, I know there's Amir Khan. I always wanted myself to see Amir Khan fight him. I think Amir Khan's very quick, explosive, and, consistent with his punches, and, I believe he settled down a bit more with working with Virgil Hunter, and, the Olympic silver medalist, and Zab Judah, if we remember, was doing a bit of a problem with his hand speed to Floyd at the beginning. So Amir Khan would be definitely a fight I would want to see myself, but, being upset, hey, he's a champion, and sometimes he's been doing it for a long time, and it could be a decision for him. But I would have loved to see Floyd versus Amir Khan.
Yeah, go out on a bigger fight. Now, Edmond, we really appreciate the time. We're going to let you go in a second. We've just got a few fan questions. The fans heard that you were coming on the show, so they sent us some questions. Just got a few that we've picked out. First one, Dragon Seeker wants to know, does Ronda train kicks, and when do you anticipate you'll be bringing them in more in future fights?
Ronda does train kicks, but for her to use it, we use more knees and elbows. But I've taught her kicks at the beginning of her career so she could know exactly how to take away kicks. So if you don't know how to kick yourself, you're not going to be able to take those kicks away and not understand where possibly those kicks could be coming from. So she knows all tactical defense off of every kick. And, will she kick? I think it's much better boxing, and it looks better on her. It's her style, and, she boxes beautifully, and boxing your way into a clinch whenever you want to take people down is much easier than kicking yourself, into the clinch. So I think it suits her style because of her, great background in judo, and that's why, less kicks and more focus on boxing.
Next fan question comes from Pierce7681. He goes, Edmond, I'm a huge fan of your coaching style. Just wanted to know, with the Ultimate Fighter, when you were coaching with Team Rousey, how close did you actually get to fighting Dennis Hallman on that episode where you guys had a few words between each other?
A lot of the stuff they don't show on the Ultimate Fighter. They showed me as the tag team game, which I didn't. I just told him, hey, because he was looking at me, and then he sweared and said, I said bye when we were in the parking lot. So I said, whenever you say hello and bye to people, you shouldn't swear because it's a God-given word. You should be respectful. And, so it was pretty close because when I told him, call me after, the show, I wanted to give the number because there's a lot of cameras and it was unnecessary, all the students there, and we could, solve it like a man and we could talk. We talk it out. It's better, but I don't think he has that intelligence to try to solve a problem with speaking. So, because, what he started off doing was already not right. So when he said, let's go fight in the cage, I was like, hell with it, I'm down, So I really did want to go in there and fight with him. But, Ronda stepped in. Of course, Ronda was very worried that they would have kicked me off the show. I wouldn't look good, trying to fight somebody, hit somebody. And, for him, he wasn't, one of the coaches on the team. He was just a guest coach, so who cares if they kicked them out that day, So we had more things to worry about, and we used our head instead of our fists, and Ronda was very supportive about that.
Yeah, it was a very heated moment. This one of the last questions, Petey and Gia wants to know what percentage of Ronda's overall training these days actually goes into judo? Because every time we see fight footage, and this is just me adding something, every time I see not fight footage, but training footage, it's always Ronda striking. How much judo training is there these days?
Well, that's why Ronda is the best in the world, is because Ronda, judo, we do it 3 days a week as much as we do the striking. Just people do not see that as much, is because, she does it at times that, in the mornings, she wants to get her best workout in, which is a lot of the TV and the media comes through. So in the mornings, why she wants to get in something hard and strong that she's not the most comfortable and so much experience in, and she wants to learn and she's hungry of learning, is the first workout. What that means is in the morning she gets up, she has that whole energy, and she just wants to get in the gym and she wants to strike. So that's what makes her so brilliant, is because why do something you've done all your life as your first training, that you're comfortable at that. You could do it anytime. So after great sparring sessions in the morning, great boxing sessions in the morning, at evening, doesn't matter how hard we worked in the evening, she slams everybody in judo and, catches them in arm bars every day. So she wants to do the morning workouts in boxing, so people don't see that her judo so much, is because, again, the media usually comes in the mornings. We know people work, a.m. We wake up in the morning and work, and, they don't cover so much of the evening training. But whenever we go out to the fights, on the embedded shows and everywhere there, you guys see she does judo and she does her throws and arm bars and all the submissions as much as she strikes. But she's smart. She doesn't wear a gi. She just came and said, hey, I'm forgetting about the gi and please teach me how to box. And she boxes 6 days a week. And when she's not in training camp, yes, I would say 75% of the time she's boxing, 25 she's doing judo. So not in training camp, 75% boxing, and then 25 grappling. But when in training camp, which is 2 months, 45 days, more or less, she's doing it equal amount.
Roscoe99 would like to know, now that news has come out that Ronda's book is being turned into a movie, who would you like to see play Edmond in the movie? Obviously, you're a big part of her life. What kind of actor do you think suits the role as Edmond?
Well, Champ wants me to play, so I don't know how I'm going to be able to do that. But
Everybody's going to be playing themselves in this movie, right? Ronda's playing herself, you'll play yourself. What about Jean Reno, the French actor?
Yeah, I don't know about the movie, what's going to happen, how it's totally going to be happening. Brad Slater will have way more information, Ram's agent, and I'm sure it's going to be great. And if Champ, and they decide that I should do my part, I'm going to give it my best, because I told Champ was really excited about, I want you to play, and if you're going to play yourself, and I'll do it for her, because she's do it for myself also, not only her, because she's a special champion, and she's an amazing champion, and there will never be another Ronda Rousey. So if it's going to be exciting to be part of her life story, a movie like that, and it's going to be encouraging to a lot of the youth and the young up and coming kids that want to get involved in martial arts. So I've always told her that, hey, Champ, something like that will be great. For a few years ago, I told her, it'll be so exciting, because it'll be motivation for all the young people, and it'll be history, and people will watch that movie even 20 years from now, see how she became a special champion.
Yeah, well, it's good times to come. We can't wait to see how the movie turns out. We'll see if you make your silver screen debut. Guys, you can catch Edmond at the Glendale Fight Club at www.gfcfitness.com. Definitely check it out. It's one of the premier boxing and MMA gyms in the world. Edmond, we really appreciate your time, and thanks so much for chatting with us today.
Thank you, guys. You guys are great. Thanks. Take care.